Welcome to Phantom Mire. A few years ago, a woman moved into an old, abandoned farmhouse on the edge of a quiet town. She wanted to escape the noise of the city and live somewhere peaceful, surrounded by nature. The neighbors warned her that the house had been empty for years and that strange things happened there. Eerie noises at night, shadows moving just beyond sight. But she dismissed it all as local folklore and old wives' tales. The first night passed without incident, but on the second night, just as darkness settled in, she lay in bed and started hearing soft whispers coming from the attic. The whispers grew louder, calling her name over and over. At first she thought it was just her imagination, but soon her heart began to race. Curious and scared, she quietly got up and crept toward the attic stairs. The voices sounded clearer now, like several people talking. When she pushed open the attic door, it slammed shut behind her, and a cold chill swept through the room. The temperature dropped sharply. In the darkness, she saw shadowy figures turning to face her. They slowly circled around, their whispers growing intense. She couldn't move or scream, as if her body was frozen. The voices whispered in her ear, "We're here. You will join us." Terrified, she tried to run down the stairs, but they seemed to stretch on forever. Her feet felt glued to the floor, each step slow and painful. The voices followed, getting closer. "We're waiting for you." Finally reaching the door, she tried to open it, but it wouldn't budge. The attic was pitch black and freezing cold. She screamed, but her voice was swallowed by the silence. Suddenly, glowing eyes appeared in the dark, staring right at her. She froze. The next morning, the neighbors found the house empty. All her belongings were untouched, but she was gone. The police searched but found no trace. Since then, the house has been avoided by everyone in town. At night, strange shadows move behind the windows, and whispers still echo through the walls. The woman's story has become a chilling legend, and no one dares to go near that farmhouse, because they say they are still waiting inside.
A few years ago, I was delivering a hot tub to a fancy gated community near Branson, Missouri. The workers on site told me where to put it. It was supposed to go on the balcony of the 4th floor. But because of how the house was built into a hill, the 4th floor was actually at ground level from the driveway side. To get the hot tub up there, I had to build a ramp, go down into the yard, then back up a ramp to the porch, through the living room, and out the back patio doors onto the deck. The problem? The deck wasn't finished. A huge section of decking was missing. They only installed enough for me to get from the patio doors to the corner where the hot tub would sit. There was no railing, and the hot tub weighed around 900 pounds. If I fell, it would be a 4-story drop. The construction workers offered to help me. We got the hot tub onto the deck, across the narrow decking, and to the corner. I was about to lay it down. Usually, you tilt the hot tub, lower it carefully from the dolly, and set it down. I'd done it many times before, but this deck wasn't wide enough to do that safely. The contractor wanted to keep the hot tub standing on its edge, which is much harder because the dolly supports the full weight. I explained we'd have to put blocks under one side of the dolly, tilt the tub, pop the straps holding it, then remove the dolly, tilt the tub back, remove the blocks, and finally set it down. The problem was the deck was too narrow. When I tilted the tub, my feet ended up just inches from the edge, with nothing but air behind me. We managed to free the dolly on one side, but not the other. I told everyone to freeze. I needed to shift my feet back carefully to avoid falling. I was panicking, but things seemed under control. 2 workers were holding the tub on either side, 3 were working to free the dolly, and 1 was fiddling with the strap meant to secure the tub to the house. Just inches from success, one of the workers got impatient and kicked the corner of the tub to try to free it. It worked, but I hadn't set my feet yet. I shouted, "I'm falling!" The 2 guys holding the tub took some weight, but no one could catch me. I was leaning backward, flailing, trying to stay on the deck. I caught a glimpse of the rocks below. I was going to fall, and there was nothing I could do. Suddenly, I felt something behind my back slam me against the bottom of the tub. The dolly was free, and the tub was upright again, with me holding on tight. The useless guy who had been playing with the strap had already secured one end to the house. That strap, which wasn't meant to stop a fall, saved my life by arresting my fall. If it weren't for him, I would have died that day. To thank him, I sent him and his family on a Christmas trip to Breckenridge, Colorado. A trip I had been saving to surprise my own wife and daughter with, but I felt he deserved it more. My family never found out. When I was in high school, I had a really good friend who lived next door to a house that was always up for sale. People would move out in the middle of the night without a word, and it hadn't had the same owner for more than 6 months straight for a couple of years. One night we were really bored and he suggested we go explore the house next door since it had sat empty for a while. We go around back and there's a dog door that he can crawl through, and he unlocks the door and lets me in. The house itself is really unremarkable. It looked like it was built in maybe the 1950s and was a craftsman-style house in an older, nicer part of town. My friend's house was similarly built. The kitchen had a really nice built-in breakfast table set against a picture window. The house's electricity was off, but you could see the street light through the window. My friend and I sit down on the floor across from this table and are just hanging out, talking. Why? Who knows? All of a sudden, my friend screams, and in that instant, my vision goes black. But it wasn't that I just couldn't see. My body was engulfed in this sickly coldness from head to toe. I start screaming and I feel my friend's hand grabbing mine and pulling me in some direction forcefully. My vision slowly comes back and I start to warm up when I realize that we're outside under the streetlight. It was December and should have been much warmer inside of that house. Finally, I look at my friend and he looks scared. I'm really confused and kind of panicked myself and finally ask him what happened. He says that as I was talking, a black thing, this figure that was all black and only had the vague shape of a girl, crawled out from under the table and sat on top of me. Apparently, I started groping around with my eyes wide open like I couldn't see, and he was so freaked out he pulled me out of the house. We're still friends and we bring it up every now and then. But the story itself never changes, and it still sends chills down my spine. To this day, I've never felt such blackness or coldness in my life. It was palpable, almost sticky. For a couple of days afterward, I couldn't shake this unsettling feeling, and I could never walk past that house again. Ugh, I'm scared to get out of bed now.